Hello and welcome to Top Select 10, ready for a cinematic feast. Explore the year's most electrifying films in our Top 10 countdown for 2024. From gripping thrillers to heartwarming dramas, we've handpicked the best of the best. Get lost in epic adventures, unravel mysteries, and experience the full spectrum of human emotion on the silver screen. Which movie will leave you breathless? Join us as we journey through the realms of imagination and storytelling excellence. Don't miss your chance to discover the next big blockbuster. Hit play now and immerse yourself in the magic of cinema. Number 10. Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver is a 2024 American epic space opera film. Cora returns to Velt with the farmer Gunnar and the warriors Titus, Nemesis, Darian, Bloodaxe, and Tarak. Titus commands the defense of the farmers and asks them to harvest the grains and use them to protect their homes. While waiting for Atticus Noble and his men, they disclose their pasts, waiting for the showdown with the Mother World's force. IMDb rating is 5.2 out of 10. Number 9. Code 8, Part 2. Code 8, Part 2 is a 2024 Canadian science fiction action film. After witnessing the murder of her brother and subsequent cover-up, a teenage girl with abnormal abilities seeks the help of an ex-con and his former partner in crime. Together, they face a unit of corrupt police officers who deploy advanced robotic technology to prevent themselves from being exposed. Code 8 is one of the few examples where the sequel is as good as the original. I had almost forgotten about the first part and was surprised when I noticed the second available. Maybe not take too long for other sequels, yeah. While the original seemed like made on a limited budget, albeit quite believably, it did a great world building and an engaging story. Part 2 extends the universe for a teeny tiny bit with another meaningful storyline. IMDb rating is 5.7 out of 10. Number 8. Roadhouse. Roadhouse is a 2024 American action film. Dalton is a middleweight fighter who is going through bad times. A tragic encounter in the ring is traumatic for him and gives him suicidal thoughts. To make ends meet, he takes up the job of a bouncer at Roadhouse. However, things are not smooth for him since a local gangster boss wants to take over the property and keeps sending his goons to the Roadhouse to create problems. Dalton then fights them all with the help of his associates of Roadhouse. Roadhouse 2024 is a fun, action-packed reimagining of the classic 1989 film. While it doesn't take itself too seriously, it manages to capture the spirit of the original while updating it for a modern audience. IMDb rating is 6.2 out of 10. Number 7. Land of Bad. Land of Bad is a 2024 American war film. A U.S. Army Special Forces unit is ambushed during a mission to retrieve an intelligence asset, and their only remaining hope lies with a remote Air Force drone operator assisting them through a brutal 48-hour battle for survival. A surprisingly entertaining and enjoyable movie based on modern warfare. I'm not usually a fan of war movies, but with a cast including Liam Hemsworth and Russell Crowe, I gave it a chance, and I am glad I did. It's your typical good guys vs bad guys movie, with the obligatory fighting, bombs, and action, which in general work quite well. However, this movie relies heavily on modern warfare tactics, with drones, eye in the sky, and missiles which add something a little different. IMDb rating is 6.5 out of 10. Number 6. Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire. Godzilla and Kong, A New Empire is exactly what you are going to get. A movie about kaiju finding their way in the world with the established notion of coexisting with humans on this planet. Here, Hollow Earth is vastly explored with great visuals and Kong delivers an exceptional performance. The fight sequences are to the point and give great depth to the brutality of the situation on Earth. As a kaiju fan, I could not ask for anything more than to see monsters go at it and save the planet. Such as any other monster movie people go see. Godzilla is true to form and is his usual reign of terror to other kaiju. The human provide the skeleton of the story, but the monsters carry it. I had so much fun with this movie. No need to go with the expectation of cinematic dialogue and epic depth. Just sit back, relax, and watch monsters do their thing. IMDb rating is 6.5 out of 10. Number 5. Abigail. Abigail is a 2024 American vampire horror comedy film. The trailer for this movie drew me in right away when I watched it a few months ago. A group of criminals kidnap a child for ransom, and it turns out she's a vampire. Who wouldn't want to see that film? This movie is as crazy and bloody as it appears in the trailer, with some good twists along the way. Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett did a great job with this one. I really like their style of filmmaking. If you liked some of their other movies like Ready or Not and Scream 5 and 6, you'll most likely enjoy this one. Melissa Barrera and Catherine Newton stood out in this film and did a wonderful job. Rip Angus Cloud, every movie and show I've seen of his, he was great, like Euphoria and Your Lucky Day. It's so tragic what happened, and I wish we could have seen what his career would have looked like. He was just getting started. I recommend seeing this movie in a theater to get the full effect. If you want a fun night at the movies, go check out this awesome bloody horror vampire flick. IMDb rating is 7.1 out of 10. Number 4. Arthur the King. Arthur the King is a 2024 American adventure film. This was a wonderful movie that I would recommend to anyone who is an animal lover and a fan of underdog stories. It's got everything you could hope to see in a racing land adventure, with risks and danger at every corner. It keeps the pulse up and the stakes are high for the entirety of the film once they get into the race itself. When you see all that Arthur endures and the bond that forms between him and Mikhail along with the other teammates, it makes your soul sing with hope and wonder at the willpower of this dog and how he serves as a living mascot for the rest of the team. Mark Wahlberg did a fantastic job acting the part of Mikhail, but when I saw he also produced, I was thrilled because the execution of every scene and how it ties to the love and courage of an amazing dog was beautifully delivered. IMDb rating is 7.2 out of 10. Number 3. Monkey Man. Monkey Man is a 2024 action thriller film. Kid, an anonymous young man who ekes out a meager living in an underground fight club where, night after night, wearing a gorilla mask, he is beaten bloody by more popular fighters for cash. After years of suppressed rage, Kid discovers a way to infiltrate the enclave of the city's sinister elite. As his childhood trauma boils over, his mysteriously scarred hands unleash an explosive campaign of retribution to settle the score with the men who took everything from him. Fantastic movie that respects the audience and develops characters and narrative while it shows development, rather than simply telling you that development is happening. The characters are well written and delivered flawlessly by the cast. The narrative intertwines individual motives with the history and paints this wonderful story on a gorgeous backdrop. IMDb rating is 7.3 out of 10. Number 2. Civil War. Civil War is a 2024 dystopian film, a journey across a dystopian future America, following a team of military-embedded journalists as they race against time to reach DC before rebel factions descend upon the White House. I was genuinely incredibly impressed by this movie. After watching the trailer, I was expecting an Expendables type of film. The reality is that this movie is brilliant. A dark twist and a brief insight into photojournalism and the horrors of war. A lot of time and effort has clearly gone into the production of this film. The way the actors move and react to situations added to the realism and added to the enjoyment of the viewer. Kirsten Dunst wasn't my first choice, but her performance was spot on. I would recommend watching this film in IMAX at the cinema. A lot of the drama would not necessarily be transferred to the small screen. Highly recommend. IMDb rating is 7.6 out of 10. Number 1. Dune, Part 2. Dune, Part 2 is a 2024 American epic science fiction film. The story follows after the massacre of House Atreides. The son of the late Duke Leto Atreides, Paul, and his mother Lady Jessica travel with the Fremen and learn their ways. While Paul starts getting closer to the Fremen girl Chani, the rest of the Fremen either despise him or worship him as the Lisan Al Gaib. Paul is torn between his compassion for Chani and the desire to lead the Fremen as their messiah. Meanwhile, the Baron Harkonnen, recovering from his wounds, takes control over Arrakis away from Rabin and gifts it to his psychotic nephew Fade Rotha Harkonnen. Paul is left with the choice of staying at his current position with the Fremen or rising up as the Lisan Al Gaib and challenging the Emperor and House Harkonnen. IMDb rating is 8.7 out of 10.